Hey everybody, how are you? Hey, thank you so much for being patient. We really appreciate it. And I just want to tell you all a little story, and all right? So one day I was lying in bed with a backache, and I started to think about this dress I used to wear. So I drew a picture of it. Then I thought of another one, and I decided to draw the dresses to hold on to them. And when I finished, I thought, wow, these dresses, they tell a story. My brownie, my mother, she was our brownie leader at Hunter College Elementary School on 69th Street between Lexington and Park. And even though she was a brownie leader, she never got a brownie uniform. It was too expensive. Oh, a handmade brown dress coat with matching leggings and galoshes.
Gingy, put on your leggings.
I hated putting on my leggings, which were held up by suspenders, so I always had a tantrum. I won't.
You have to put on your leggings if you're going to play in the snow.
No, I don't.
You know what will happen if you don't? You'll get polio.
You can't imagine how many ways there were to get polio. You could get it from swimming pools, from drinking water, and worst of all, from swallowing a fly. Note the brightly colored mittens. My mother was always knitting mittens for my sister and me. So we lived at 333 East 66th Street between 1st and 2nd Avenue in a first floor railroad flat that faced the front. Now my mother made this forest green wool jersey dress embroidered with the little red cherries on it for my sister. My sister's name was Blossom, but everybody called her Tootsie. And everybody called me Gingy because I was born with ginger-colored hair. Now, my mother, this one here is a picture of my mother. She was a large, handsome woman who didn't wear probably because we couldn't afford them. But once, my grandmother, she surprised her with this silver fox stole. And my mother, she tried it on, but she never wore it after that day. She usually wore a brown printed dress with brown shoes and a buckle. And she wore glasses. But whenever I draw her picture, I forget to include the glasses. She had the most beautiful shaped face. Now, one day, this dress my mom made for me, it was a black taffeta outfit. She made almost all of my sister and my clothes. And I wore this dress to dancing school at Ballet Arts at Carnegie Hall on 57th Street. And I liked it very much. But what I really wanted was a store-bought outfit. Sometimes I would take the crosstown bus to Ballet Arts all by myself. My mother, she would walk us to the bus.
Gingy, what's that smell?
What smell?
You know perfectly well what smell.
It was perfume. It was taboo. Oh, I smelled like...
You smell like a bordello. You are too young to wear perfume.
Tootsie wears perfume.
Tootsie is 17. You're only 12 years old, and you're still a baby.
I am not a baby.
And you smell so sweet without it. When you were a little girl, I used to just bury my head in your neck and inhale.
She used to just bury her head in my neck and inhale. The spring after my mother died, my father took me to B. Altman's department store. We were both so sad, but when we got to the teen department, my father said, "This is my daughter Gingy, and she needs something for her 13th birthday party, and we need help." Everybody ran to help us because he was so handsome. He was almost 6 feet tall. And I picked two navy blue dresses, but I couldn't decide between them. And I was in agony. But you know what my father said? He said, you don't have to decide. I'm going to get them both for you.
Cool.
And he even had them gift wrap them. And this is a long time ago when you didn't have to pay extra for gift wrap. And both dresses were very expensive, about $44 each.
Well,
And I chose this one for my 13th birthday. One day, my grandmother came to get me and my sister. And she said that we were going to live with her, my grandfather, and my Aunt Babby. And I never saw my father again. My mother.
When I was 13,
When I was 13,
my mother went to Montreal
New York City.
and she brought me back not a twin set of adorable cashmere sweaters,
Not a CPO, which was a jacket that looked like a shirt made out of black wool, and I wanted one so badly.
not a pair of capezios,
Or bell-bottom jeans, which had just come in, and everyone had them but me. But instead,
a pair of socks.
an outfit.
The loudest, ugliest long socks.
No one was wearing outfits.
They were striped.
My whole class at Scarsdale High was dressing like hippies, and she gave me an outfit for my birthday.
The socks were meant to be worn
mid-thigh.
mid-thigh, she said, and they were French.
They're from Paris.
Cigarette-smoking, finger-thin Frenchies wore them.
Well, the tray is chic.
And I was not thin. Did I mention that? And they were striped.
Everyone is wearing them.
They are?
Brown plaid wool pants, an ivory silk blouse with a bow, and a crocheted vest just to pull it all together. I was ballistic. What is this? I can't believe you bought this. I hate this.
What's wrong with it?
Everything. What have I ever done to make you think I would ever even put this outfit on?
It looks like something you would wear.
I only wish I could wear that. It's beautiful.
Like anyone is wearing outfits.
Oh, at least try it on. You look adorable.
I do not. I'm taking it back.
You can't take it back.
Why not? Oh, you bought it on sale?
Oh,
Oh, you bought me a birthday present that was on sale? But what if I didn't like it? Which I don't.
you are an ungrateful girl. You are a horrible, ungrateful girl. You don't appreciate anything.
My life is over just from putting it on his house.
Fine.
Fine.
I'll never buy you anything again.
Good. I don't care. The next year, on my birthday, she gave me a paperback copy of Between Parent and Child and a frozen Sara Lee banana cake because I don't appreciate anything anyway. My mother.
Oh, you look adorable.
Do I?
Oh, the French have the best sense of style.
So the next day I put on my new socks and got on my bike to go to school, and I felt very daring and très chic for about a quarter of a mile. Until I passed Michael Sherman, the boy I was in love with for 2 years. And the second I saw him and he started laughing, I knew it was all wrong. My mother deceived me. She didn't have a clue about style. So, of course, big laughs behind my back all day long. Even one of my teachers said something. It was bad. But the worst thing was, when I told my mother, when I sobbed about how humiliated I was, she thought it was funny.
Oh, gosh. Honey, if you wear them again tomorrow, everyone will think it's a new trend. That's how trends start, you know.
My mother.
What my mother said.
Don't wear stripes and prints together.
Loafers ruin your feet.
Stop tugging at your crotch, Samantha.
If you wear a girdle, you will destroy your stomach muscles.
Always wear clean underpants in case you die in a car accident.
You have to wear that dress. Do you know how much I paid for that dress?
Never buy a red coat.
I saw your friend Stephanie at the mall. Is she wearing the blouse I bought you?
You go right back upstairs and take that off.
Nice girls do not get their ears pierced.
You would be so pretty if you
Lost weight?
Gain weight.
I didn't make faces.
fixed your nose.
Cut your hair.
Owned your hair.
Wash your hair.
Kept your hair out of your eyes.
Stood up straight.
Ate fruit.
Put on a little lipstick.
Took off all that makeup.
Oh, honey, you look so beautiful.
Oh, just looking at you, I'm going to cry.
My baby is all grown up.
You're so pretty.
Do you know how pretty you are?
Well, you're pretty enough for all normal purposes.
Is that what you're wearing?
Are you wearing that deliberately to annoy me?
Never wear white before Memorial Day.
Never wear white after Labor Day.
Never wear white.
You're much too young to wear black.
Never wear black pants with a white shirt or else you'll look like the caterer's help.
Never wear velvet before Rosh Hashanah.
What did you do to your hair?
Is that a tattoo?
If you wear that, you're going to be sent home for breaking the dress code.
Take that off. You look like a slut.
You look like a prostitute.
You look like a gypsy.
You look like a bag lady.
You look like a waitress in a Hungarian restaurant.
I don't understand. You could do so good if only you tried.
I don't know why I buy you things.
A tiara. You want a tiara? Where are you planning on wearing a tiara?
Your bra strap's showing. What do you mean it's supposed to show?
The bathrobe.
Truth is, I have no fashion sense. I never did. For many years, I blamed this on my mom's death. Then again, I blame pretty much everything on that. My weight, my addiction to television, and my inability to spell. In my fantasy world, had my mother lived, I would be extremely well dressed. I would know what went with what, and everything I tried on would fit. Mom and I would shop together at places that moms and daughters go. Department store, the outlet mall, the flea market. I wear a lot of taste in makeup too. We would have lunch someplace while shopping. It would be at a cafe where we would have salad and like it. We'd laugh about how great our lives turned out and make plans for all the things we were still going to do. But that was all a dream, because my mother did not live. She died when she was 39 years old. Fact is, no item of clothing has ever moved me in any way, except one. After my mom died, my father took his now 5 motherless children to Belfast, Northern Ireland, and I thought we could best recover from the trauma of her death by living in a war zone. Listen, the IRA was nowhere near as scary as what had just happened to our lives. And when we returned home, I found her side of the closet empty. All her clothes were gone. But then, a few years later, my father got remarried to a lovely woman. She was a school teacher named Mary May. And after the wedding, of course, she moved in. That first morning she was there, I was having breakfast with a few of my siblings when my new stepmom came down the stairs and into the kitchen. She was wearing a burgundy, long, 3/4 sleeve zip bathrobe with a white stripe around the zipper. Oh, nobody said a word. We all looked at each other and then back at Mary as she happily made her way to the stove to put on the kettle. My mom had had that same robe in blue, electric blue. Now, what are the chances of that? Really? The unspoken rule in our house was that my mom's name was never mentioned after her death.
What a bit.
I knew that morning that rule was about to be broken. My siblings left the kitchen, and I was alone with Mary. Mary, I said, my mom had that same robe in blue. Oh, she said. And that robe disappeared. Gone. It was sent away to the same place my mother's clothes went, I assume. To this day, that is the only piece of clothing I can actually see in my mind. I have no visuals of prom dresses or favorite sweaters or shoes I couldn't live without. For me, clothes are just something I use for cover, leaving room for one electric blue memory.
Holly's story.
If I could draw, I would draw you the dress my mother gave me when I was 5 years old. It was my favorite dress ever. It had long sleeve and it was charcoal gray wool with a big lace pilgrim collar and black satin bow in the center and lace cuffs. A few months after my mother gave it to me, my father, who was a doctor, sent my mother to a mental hospital, moved his nurse into our house, divorced my mother, and married his nurse. We had a cleaning lady that came in once a week who had a daughter, and my stepmother used to give her daughter my hand-me-downs. But one day, I couldn't find my beautiful dress, and I asked my stepmother if she'd seen it. It will turn out, she said. And a week later, I went to school, and during recess, I found my dress on the cleaning lady's daughter. I did not believe it. I ran up to her, and I grabbed her by the collar, screaming, "That's my dress! My dress! My dress!" And again, until the recess monitor pulled us apart. The little girl stood there shaking and crying, and I stood there shaking and crying with the bowl in my fist. I wasn't punished because the school understood, but I remember wishing that they had punished me. Shame on me. And shame on my stepmother, too.
So we lived with my grandparents in a brownstone. It's a brownstone building at 743 Madison Avenue between 65th and 66th Streets. They owned the stationery store on the street level. It was called Harry Goldberg's, and we lived above the store. My grandmother had very beautiful, long, silvery gray hair that she twisted on top of her head into a bun. And she believed in two cures: hot tea for anything wrong inside the body, and Vaseline for anything wrong outside the body. Here's what she always said: "It's as easy to fall in love with a rich man as it is a poor man." No, wait, it's not true. Why does anybody say that? It's not true. Oh, no, my Aunt Babby, she had enormous breasts. One time I saw her naked and it scared me half to death. Oh, now my best friend Dora. Dora had a beauty mark at the end of her eyebrow. So she lived at 22 East 65th Street, right across the street from me. So we used to lean out of our windows and shout down things to the men crossing by, like, "Hey, mister, you're going bald!" We thought we were hilarious. Dora's mother was a dress designer for rich ladies. So whenever Dora went someplace special, her mother would say, "Take Gingy along." She lent me this peach satin strapless gown for when Dora and I went to the Choate School for Boys in Connecticut for the weekend. The preppy girls, they gave us mean looks and called us whores. Probably because we spent the entire weekend necking with our dates. Oh, now this. This is a coral wool jersey dress I bought for a date with Walter Fenton. I was madly in love with Walter Fenton. Every time we'd go out, he would beg me to go all the way. So finally, at a fraternity party at Dartmouth Winter Carnival, he told me that he couldn't see me anymore because necking was just too painful. So he went on to have a beer and left me there on the floor. After a long time, he came back and said he was going to take me back to the place I was supposed to be staying that night. But I told him I didn't want to. I wanted to spend the night with him. "Are you sure, Gingy?" he said. "I'm sure," I said. So we did it. And that is when I found out that in sex, once you do something, you have to keep doing it. At the end of my freshman year, I thought I was pregnant. I had no idea what to do, so I went to my sociology professor at Simmons College. He taught a class on marriage and the family, so I thought he could help. It turned out I wasn't pregnant, but by then, Walter had vanished. The bra.
That is a very painful subject.
My first bra.
I can't even talk about my first bra.
May Company.
Deceased.
Nordstrom's.
Bloomingdale's at a bra sale, and I was almost trampled to death.
My father took me. I still can't talk about it.
Bras, breasts, the whole works. This is a very painful subject.
I was always trying on bras.
My aunt had this really big one. I used to put it on my head.
My first bra was like two little triangles. I got it at Jordan Marsh. And it was really awful because there was this really cute guy there shopping with his girlfriend. And my mother kept yelling, "Julia, why are you in that section? The training bras are over here."
My mother said if you don't wear a bra, you'll get pendulum breasts.
It was a 28 AA bra. Tiny, but not tiny enough. I put it on and there were little empty puffs on my chest. The saleswoman said, "Lean over." So I leaned over, hoping that my breast would magically tumble out of my body into the bra. But they didn't.
I bought a blow-up bra. It had these plastic balloon inserts and came with a plastic straw that you inserted into the balloon and blew up to the size that you wanted, right? And one day I was talking to this guy that I had a crush on, and my right breast just told right in front of it.
It was something about your dad.
Yeah, you couldn't run around the house naked anymore.
And you couldn't sit on your daddy's lap anymore.
The breasts, the bra, the divide.
My mom had a friend that worked at Bloomingdale's, and she recommended the Minimizer, which was a spandex bra that was supposed to flatten your boobs about a cup size. It did flatten me, but it gave me kind of a mono boob look. And I wore it when I worked at the veterinary hospital. I was a vet tech. And there was this crazy Indian substitute vet there one day, and he said to me, "Now, please don't take this personally. It is for your own good. But I have to say, there is something wrong with your boob." And I said, "I don't know you, and I don't appreciate your comments about my boobs. They are none of your business." First time I stood up for my boobs.
Someone gave me a halter top that needs a bra to make it worse. So I go to the town shop on Broadway and tell the saleswoman Marmalene my size. She immediately tells me I'm wrong. "All you girls think you should be going up in inches, when you should be going up a cup." I am deposited into what is perhaps a dressing room, but looks more like a utility closet with a mirror and a case of paper towels. I'm strapped into my strapless when the curtain is parted like the Red Sea, and my linebacker saleswoman commands me to bend over. She then grabs me and my bra and hoists us up until I can feel the blood changing direction. Then she reaches in, cups my breasts, and shifts them. She invites all the other saleswomen in to have a look at me. Everyone cheers. I looked in the mirror and I realized I'm a new woman. And it took Marmalene feeling me up at the utility closet to get it that way.
The prom dress.
My junior prom dress was powder blue and white. It was ribbed with tiny ribs, and it had a white waistband and a white band on the bottom, sort of like Cinderella, and a big powder blue bow in that. The problem was my date. He rang the bell, and when I opened the door, there he was in a powder blue tuxedo with a white frilly shirt and a powder blue bow tie. We matched. It was absolutely mortifying. And I didn't even like the guy, but I was sort of the last girl to be asked to the prom. Well, not the very last, but one of the last. So I really didn't have to stay in my date or what he wore. And I had a horrible time with prom. And afterwards, we went to a field and we tipped cows. My senior prom was completely different. My dress was black and short. It was kind of the 1980s Madonna style, you know, her Like a Virgin phase. It was tight on the top, and it came out in a black net proof, and I had black lace gloves. My date was also short, but he was dark and handsome, and we ended up drinking champagne and making out in the backseat of his car. It was great. But here's the thing. I've never known which of those two people I really am. Am I the girl that almost doesn't get asked to the prom at all? Or am I the girl that gets to go with a really cute guy? And when I thought I knew which one I was, I turned out to be the other. Which is one of the reasons why I think I got married. To end the confusion. Go ahead.
Madonna. Any American woman over the age of 40 who says she's never dressed up as Madonna is either lying or she's Amish. Madonna represents sexual freedom, third wave feminism, individuality, and fabulous fashion. So last year for Halloween, we all dressed up as Madonna from 4 different stages of her career. I was desperately seeking Susan Madonna. I wore the black t-shirt cut to reveal my stomach and silver necklaces tied in lariats and a huge black skirt and red Converse sneakers and blonde ambition tour Madonna. The tight black leotard, fishnet stockings, a headset, and this was so brilliant. 2 party hats painted black to look like the pointy bra. Express herself Madonna. All right, she wore a man's suit, rocked a red lip, cut slashes in the jacket so that her bra would show through. And then we had Patty Hearst Madonna. She wore that cute little hat that Patty wore when she robbed the bank, and a trench coat and a fake gun strapped across her chest. And anyway, these costumes and a whole lot of Cosmos totally freed us. I mean, I made out with the girl. Oh my God. I made out with so many gay men. I practically got into a fist fight with another group of girls dressed as Madonna. And whenever Vogue came on, we totally hit the dance floor. Vogue, 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 Vogue. The gang sweater.
I felt so hot in my gang sweater. I was 15 and it was the first thing I ever got tailor-made for me. Well, maybe the only thing now that I think about it. I just joined this gang called the Latin Chantels. We were the chicas of the Latin Chancellors. You know the guys that hang out in the corner of 27th Street in Normal in Chicago? My sweater was hip length and bad. It was black with royal blue trim on the collar and the pockets, but the best part about it was the emblem. It was this big puffy rendition of some long time ago coat of arms designed by Lemons. He was the warlord of the Latin Chancellors, and the emblem was sewn onto the sweater right near your heart. I wore my gang sweater with black striped pants. You know the kind with the straps that go under your feet? I looked cool in that outfit. So cool that the first time I wore it, Lemons asked to walk me home. I could barely breathe. I was in heaven walking down the dark streets of Chicago with Lemons by my side. I was thrilled when he pulled me in the doorway and started kissing me. When he unbuttoned my sweater, I shuddered. But when he put his hand under my blouse, right under the emblem which he designed, I figured it was meant to be. Lemons never spoke to me again after that date. He fell madly in love with Irma. She was the president of the Latin Caprice. Their sweaters were black with purple trim. Cool.
I got my first pair of boots when I was 14. They were suede, and they were the answer to my need to be identified as brooding, wounded, but potentially brilliant artistic subspecies of female with practically no genetic relationship to my miserable, screaming family. My dog Corky got them confused with an entree and ate a hole in them. So I took the bus to Sausalito and I got a new pair. They were olive green leather and came up above my knees. And by the time I got to Berkeley, where I was an art student, I was all boots all of the time. Freshman year, I had 2 pair. One a golden brown color, and the other was a deeper brown. And I wore them with these really, really short skirts. I thought my boots gave me a kind of mysterious bohemian charisma,
tough but tender, rugged but sensuous, poetic but unself-conscious. You know, like Joni Mitchell. It was a really happy time of my life. But then one night when I was sleeping, a guy broke into my apartment and he raped me.
Oh my God, how awful.
They never caught him, and I have no reason at all to think that he'd ever seen me before that night. But after the rape, when I walked down the streets of Berkeley in my boots and my short skirts, it suddenly seemed like everyone was staring at me, and so I gave all of my short skirts to Goodwill. But not my boots. I love boots. The dressing room.
What do you think?
Does this go in or out?
What is this length?
I can't even zip it up.
The only reason I can't zip this up is I have my period.
Oh my God, I'm up the size.
This will fit if I lose 5 pounds.
This will fit if I lose 10 pounds.
This'll fit if I have lipo.
This doesn't fit.
Do you think this can be let out?
This doesn't fit now, but I always lose weight in May.
I don't know where this was cut for.
But I'm a 6. I've always been a 6.
Does this come in an 8?
Does this come in at 12?
Does this come at a 14/16?
Does this make me look pregnant?
I can't decide.
What color is this?
I can't wear gray.
Yellow makes me look sick.
I look so pale in green.
It's so red.
Oh, it's so red.
Is this black or is this navy blue?
I can't buy another black turtleneck sweater.
I can't buy another white t-shirt.
I look like my mother.
What am I supposed to wear with this?
Does this match?
If you're not buying that, can I try it on?
Is this one small?
Is there something wrong with the lighting in here?
Is this mirror distorted?
It doesn't fit.
Oh, I can't wear anything without sleeves.
I can't wear anything low cut.
My arms. What happened to my arms?
If my elbows faced forward, I would kill myself.
My butt's falling.
Is my butt falling?
Oh my God, my butt fell.
Does this make me look fat?
Tell me the truth.
I can't decide.
I can't decide.
I can't decide.
Decide.
The shirts.
Last summer, I lost my favorite shirt. Or, to be accurate, my favorite shirt vanished into thin air. When I got home from being away for the summer and I unpacked my bags, the shirt simply never materialized. I have replayed the sequences of events in my mind several times, and I have theories about what happened to it, but the fact remains that the shirt just ceased to exist. The really sad part was that this came at the end of the summer when the shirt gradually revealed itself to be the perfect shirt. It was flattering. I always felt pretty in it. I liked the color and the cut. It went with all my favorite pants. It was comfortable. It was one of those shirts you had to make yourself not wear all the time because it made every day's outfit improved. And as silly as this may sound, I am generally happier when I have clothes like this in my life. When there's something I know I can put on and feel good in, something to fall back on. When I realized the shirt was gone, I couldn't think of anything else I owned that served remotely the same function. And I felt cheated out of something truly rare and precious. I realize that I sound like I'm talking about death or about a lost love, and maybe I am. It's probably worth noting that my relationship with my boyfriend was ending just at the same time I lost the shirt. But I could have sworn to you at the time I was not transferring my feelings about the loss of my boyfriend onto the shirt, but was actually mourning the loss of the shirt itself. The main lesson to be learned from this experience came from the purchase of 8 different shirts, which each had some likeness to the lost shirt, whether it be in color, cut, material, casualness, but none of them in any way replaced it. And I eventually had to resolve to be thankful for the time I had with the shirt and move on. At least I know what I'm looking for.
Pink satin princess style dress I bought in Filing's basement in Boston for my marriage to Harry M. Johnson. I was 20 and Harry was 37. Harry was my sociology professor from Simmons College. We were married at his best friend's house in Dobbs Ferry. There was no food, only champagne and cake. My grandmother was there, and so was Aunt Babby, but my grandfather wouldn't come. He thought Harry was too old for me, and besides, he's Catholic. Here are the words my grandmother uttered on this occasion. "You're killing me." One day, I was coming down the front steps from our apartment, and there was Walter Fenton. He had joined the Navy, and he looked handsomer than ever in his uniform. "Gingy," he said, "why'd you do it?" Then he kissed my cheek, and then my hand, then he walked away. Now I wish I could tell you that nothing good ever happened to Walter Fenton, that he ended up being some used car salesman or something. But the truth is, he won a Pulitzer Prize. Now I've got something frick. Iridescent, brocade, Chinese-style dinner dress I bought in Cambridge for a New Year's Eve party. Harry convinced me to buy this dress, even though it was very expensive. And he said that it showed off my arms. He thought my arms were pretty. The party was at the home of Harry's friends, Penny and Ecky. They were married, and I idolized Penny. She carried a diaphragm in her purse, which was cool, but I thought it was weird at the time because isn't the whole point about getting married that you don't have to carry a diaphragm with you? So, anyway, at midnight, I got very upset because I couldn't find Harry anywhere. And then I found him. He was kissing Penny. Yes, no. "Harry," I said. You know what he said? Of course you know what he said. "It's not what you think." But it was exactly what I thought. Please. So that was that. I was 21 years old, and I was going to be the youngest divorced person in America. Well, except for Elizabeth Taylor. Lynn stories.
In the beginning, I remember the jewelry more than the clothes. When I met Ray, we were both married and we worked at the same truck dealership. And he used to say that falling in love with me was like lace. Because he was a kid, and when he was a kid, he had colitis. And for a long time, he wasn't allowed to have any roughage. And he missed it a lot. When he finally was allowed to have it, he must introduce it slowly, a little bit of lettuce at a time. And he described eating his first plate of lettuce almost like a religious experience, relishing the look, the smell, the taste, and the sound, like he was coming alive. So the first gift he gave me was a ring he made that spelled lettuce. Lettuce. Still have it. It's a bit tight. Anyway, even before we slept together, he told me about how he was in trouble and he'd been arrested and he was probably going to jail. And then he told me all over again because he wanted to make sure he hadn't misled me. But all I could think about was how I wanted to go to bed with him. And And it didn't really shock me that he was going to jail because my family was always doing things. My grandmother and mother were arrested for making gin in the bathtub. And my cousin Davy faked his own funeral to get out of his car payment. So Ray and I, we fell in love, and he left his wife, and I left my husband, and Ray was sentenced to 7 years, but thank God at a minimum security prison. I went up to visit him every weekend, and sometimes I wore a special pair of pairs. I had loose-fitting brown cotton, and I made a hole in the crotch for easy access of Ray's finger. Obviously, Ray didn't get much from this except the satisfaction of pleasing me, and he always wanted to show me that even in jail, he could take better care of me than someone who wasn't in jail. And of course, we wanted to hold on to our freedom and put something over on the guards and get away with it. That was the best part, because when we came into the jail, the guards were horrible when they cleared you. They frisked you. They went through your bag like they controlled you, which they did. And Ray, then Ray got out of prison after 2.5 years, and I picked him up that day wearing a knee-high caramel-colored boots and a raincoat. And Ray comes down and he looks at me, and there's a smile on his face from ear to ear, because he knew I had nothing on underneath. And the guards didn't know. And by the way, we just celebrated our 20th wedding anniversary. I'm a state senator. Oh. And Ray is a life coach. He coaches people for their life, on their life. And if you lived where we lived, you'd know. But you wouldn't know our story.
Sisters.
I always wanted a pair of black cowboy boots. I thought they'd make me sort of rangy and taller, like a girl named Slim a guy could really go for. So one day I wandered into Walker's Western Wear and bought myself a pair of Nakonas. Beautiful stitching on the side and shit-kicker pointy toes. $250. The salesman said they'd be good for my arches. I have terrible arches.
She's obsessed with her arches.
My older sister.
She's always been obsessed with her arches.
My younger sister. About a month later, I met a guy I fell in love with, Chase. Turned out he had 6 pairs of cowboy boots, not Nakonas, but some really nice Tony Lamas. And as fate would have it, he was the same sexy guy I saw standing against a door column at a party at the architecture school.
It was Halloween, don't leave that out.
He had a chainsaw through his torso.
How could she resist him?
She couldn't.
He was sort of this freckly prepster, and well, since I had freckles too, there we were with our freckles and black boots and skinny freckly arms all entangled.
She followed him to Seattle. He invited me.
No, he did not.
Well, one of the reasons why he wanted to move out west was to get away from his incredibly dysfunctional family in Connecticut. Although, if I ever said his family was dysfunctional, he'd say, "Now hold you right there. My family's not dysfunctional. If you want to talk about dysfunctional families, what about your family?"
What about your sisters?
What about your sisters who hate me?
Which we did.
Because of the way he treated her.
Although she let him, he couldn't have treated her like that if she hadn't let him.
We've discussed this for hours.
Behind her back.
What a jerk he was.
Why is she in love with him?
Why?
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 Where was I?
His incredibly dysfunctional family.
Right. So he said,
If you're gonna insult my family, I'm out of here.
And she said,
"Don't go. Please don't go. Please don't go." I didn't mean it. I love you.
I love you. I love you.
He was always threatening to leave.
And every time she said,
Don't go. Please don't go. Please don't go. I didn't mean it. I love you.
So guess what? He stayed.
After a while, I began to suspect that he was actually in love with his family and not really with me at all. He'd go home for the holidays without me, bearing gifts that I helped him shop for. He'd come back with these old Shetland sweaters that reminded him of his childhood. But what I really wanted was for him to come back with the realization that he missed me horribly, that he couldn't live without me, that he wanted to marry me, that he loved me, or, failing any of that, that he'd someday wanted me to meet his fucking parents, which I told him in those very words.
and he said,
If you're gonna insult my family, I'm out of here.
and she said,
Fine,
isn't that amazing?
fine, go, split, who cares? And take your fucking boots with you.
And he left.
Just like that.
After 7 years and 7 horrible Christmases, at which point he had 12 pairs of Tommy Llamas, most of them with holes, and I still had my well-oiled, well-cared-for Nokonas. He kept the Shetland sweaters and his childhood memories, and I left town and found a good shrink in Los Angeles, where we live.
The closet.
I have nothing to wear.
Nothing.
Nothing fits.
Nothing fits me.
Why did I buy this piece of shit?
Where is it?
Why can't I find anything in my
I
closet?
hate my clothes.
Why do I buy such terrible clothes?
I have to clean out my closet.
I absolutely have to.
I should throw this away. After all, I haven't worn it for 2 years.
That's 3 years.
5 years.
I can't do it.
My mother gave this to me. Who does she think I am?
I can't buy my black turtleneck sweater.
Where is it?
I can't find it.
Oh, now I'm sweating.
Why didn't I hang this up? Now I have to iron it.
I have nothing to wear.
Who bought this?
Who did I think I was when I bought this?
Oh, I totally forgot I bought this.
Do they never go through this choosing a sweater, unchoosing a sweater, choosing a sweater, unchoosing a sweater?
Of course they don't.
What is wrong with me?
Where is it?
I have nothing to wear.
I have nothing to wear.
I have nothing to wear.
Nothing.
After I got divorced, I moved back to New York and lived with Dora, who was studying to be an actress.
Now, Gingy, you are the second youngest divorced person in the world. But you must act as if you couldn't care less.
I had no idea what Dora meant.
So what I mean is, don't go marrying the first person you go out with just so you can stop being divorced.
Don't be ridiculous. Why would I do that?
Are you listening to me, Gingy?
This is a yellow ochre sack dress look Dora lent me when she fixed me up with Al Beckerman.
He's very sweet, but don't marry him. Are you listening to me, Gingy?
Floral print, cotton, PK dress I purchased at a very snooty store in New Canaan, Connecticut, before my marriage to Al Beckerman. My grandmother and Babby, they came to the wedding, but my grandfather wouldn't come. He was still mad at me for marrying Harry. Al was so sweet. He's very sweet, I told Dora. And then she said,
I know he is very sweet, but are you sure?
he'll take care of me.
I know, but are you sure?
We both want a big family.
Oh, how big, Gingy?
Black and red print taffeta and maternity dress. First worn when I was pregnant with Isabel. And then when I was pregnant with Lily, Michael, Joe, Julie, and David. David died when he was 18 months old from a 48-hour intestinal license. Your son has expired. That's what they said when they called from the hospital. Your son is expired. Everything changed after David died. I ordered this beige wool pantsuit from the Spiegel catalog. It was my first mail order purchase. I thought it would be a good interview outfit because now, that the kids, they were all in school. So I just wanted to go back to work. And I got a job at an ad agency. And one day, I walked into my office and there was this man sitting on my desk with a glue stick in his hand. And he said, "Do you know how to open this fucking thing?" It was as if Cupid shot right in my heart. Fuck, he said, and then he left. Later that day, I found out that his name was Stanley. So there it was. First Walter, then Harry, then Al, then Stanley. Ugh. I loved this print jersey Diane von Furstenberg wrap dress. It was easy to put on and very comfortable. And if you gained a couple pounds, it still fit. And I was wearing it the day I told Al I couldn't stay married to him anymore because I had fallen in love with Stanley. It wasn't Al's fault. Al was so sweet. Annie's story.
There was, for a very brief moment in time, the paper dress, and I had one. I got it at Paraphernalia's, which was Betsy Johnson's first store on 57th and Madison Avenue. It was this grayish plaid sheath, and I wore it to brunch at my cousin Marty's. Now, he was an advertising executive, and he just married Steffi, whom he put through medical school, and then she ran off with a doctor. But they were very impressed with my dress and how au courant I was. Then I wore it to Paula's sisters, Janet's, and her new husband, Earl's, and they invited me and Paula over for dinner at their newlywed apartment, which contained their newly upholstered dining room chairs. Now, in the middle of dinner, I got my period. Suddenly and violently. And when we all stood up, there was a blood stain on the seat of the prize chair. For history, I should say the dress was completely intact, just wet. Must have been the predecessor to Bounty paper towels. Anyway, when we all stood up, Janet said something like, "What?" And I said something like, "What?" As if nothing at all had happened. I then left the room to go to the bathroom, and God knows what the three of them did, but I never acknowledged to anyone that anything out of the ordinary ever happened. Although, I will remember this on my deathbed.
Fat, thin. I started getting fat when I was 12.
I was always thin.
By the time I was 15, I was a size 20.
Not just thin, skinny, which wouldn't have mattered if I had breasts, but I didn't.
If I ate a carrot, I gained 3 pounds.
Mary, is that you in the refrigerator again?
It was. My mother kept saying,
You have such a pretty face, and you only lost some weight. You'd be so attractive.
my mother was the most competent human being alive, but she gave up on me clothes-wise. She would send me off alone in a taxi to a store called Jane Ingles on the corner of 79th and Madison. They'd bring me clothes, and I would try them on. They had a dressing room with 3 mirrors. And no matter which way I looked, there I was, big as a house. Now, there was never, ever a good time to be fat. But this was a particularly bad time on account of Audrey Hepburn.
My shrink said,
If you ever got happy, you would gain weight.
she also said,
This is because of your mother.
my mother, I'm thin because of my mother?
Yes.
Could it be my metabolism?
No.
By the time I married Kenny, I'd managed to diet down to 152 pounds, which was rail thin for me. What Kenny didn't care what I weighed because he was gay and would have married me if I had to.
I have a picture of me and my first husband sitting on a bench in Washington Square Park, and I'm wearing my lime green winter coat. It was so short, and I had a plaid scarf on, and I look really happy. But I was never happy with David. And whenever I look at the picture, I think how photos lie and how so many marriages are just performances.
When I married Kenny, I wore my mother's wedding dress, which fit with some adjustments. She bought it at Bergdorf's, and it was an absolutely gorgeous dress. It was ivory satin that was plain, with long sleeves that came to a point and a great long train. Just as I was getting into the dress before the wedding, the dressmaker pricked her finger on a needle. Got blood on my dress. My mother said,
I know how to fix that.
oh, and she did. After all, she was the most competent human being alive. She got an ice cube, and out came the blood stain. Imagine that. Now, I wore the dress at my wedding. My sister wore it at hers. My older daughter wore it at hers. Until it got down to my younger daughter, Jenny, who said, no way in hell am I wearing that bad luck dress. So we had a wedding dress designed for her by Vera Wang. And Jenny got divorced too. We all got divorced. My whole family. Everyone. Except my mother, who remained married to my father for 56 miserable years.
After I was married to David for 3 years, I began to endlessly fantasize about tragically and miraculously losing him. Whenever he was 5 minutes late, automobile accident. Whenever he had a cough, TB. And whenever we went to a party, I hoped he would go in the kitchen and kiss one of my girlfriends and run off with her. But none of my friends liked him either.
You are ambivalent.
Ambivalent? I was not remotely ambivalent.
You are ambivalent. You really love him. You are just too neurotic to realize it.
Well, I was neurotic, but not because I didn't love my husband. It was because I was pretending to love my husband when I didn't. So, after 6 years, David and I separated, but not before spending an entire week together talking nonstop. We even spoke naked, which you might imagine meant we finally spoke the truth, but we didn't.
Why were you naked?
Because we just had sex. We were lying there, and my husband was telling me he wanted me to stop writing. I had hardly written anything at that point. Oh, well, I wrote that one book, The Adventurous Crocheter. And I remember I started to recite the beginning of the book to myself so I wouldn't have to hear what he was saying. There is no wrong way to crochet. There are easy ways and there are harder ways, but there is no wrong way to crochet. So David and I got divorced, and I left my shrink. I mean, fuck you.
When I married Henry, I wore my mother's navy blue suit. I looked like a 110-year-old Italian war widow. But we lived happily ever after.
When I married Jerry, I wore a shocking pink cotton Mexican skirt with a white cotton blouse off the shoulder. Now, it's not the sort of thing that looks good on a skinny person, but I gained 5 pounds, and we all know what a big deal 5 pounds is.
Shoes. I look gorgeous in heels. Everyone looks gorgeous in heels. But my feet hurt. My little toe was always crushed, and I had a bunion. It was in so much pain. I couldn't think, and I had to choose heels or think. I chose think. So I bought some chic flats. I made a lot of mistakes. I bought these turquoise blue Marc Jacobs ballet flats that the salesman talked me into because he said they had toe cleavage. I had never heard of toe. And I realized that chic flat shoes were almost as uncomfortable as high heels, but they didn't do that amazing thing with your legs. And fortunately, at just about that time, I met an unbelievably stylish woman who was wearing Birkenstocks. Now, when I was in high school, I was more of a Doc Martens girl, and Birkenstocks, they symbolized everything I didn't want to be. They're incredibly uncool, and the girls who wore them, they had these big dirty toes that just stuck out over the ends, and you absolutely could not be friends with a person who wore Birkenstocks. But this stylish woman, she wore her Birks with baggy cords and a Comme des Garçons sleeveless shirt, and it was a revelation. The next day, I went out and I got myself a pedicure and a pair. Dark brown, classic style. I realized that Birkenstocks were actually the coolest, punkest shoes that a girl could wear. They were a statement. Look, these are my feet. We all have them, okay? Well, my husband, he had a slightly different opinion. He hated my Birkenstocks. He said they made me look like a troll from Middle Earth. Once, when the Yankees were in a playoff, he made me take them off before I entered the room with the television in it so I wouldn't jinx them. After we split up, you'd think I'd have stuck with my Birkenstocks, but no. I started wearing heels again. Oh, the pain. I can't think, but I look gorgeous. And I had to choose heels or think. I chose heels.
I just want to say,
jumpsuits. Can we for 1 second talk about what a nightmare it is to go to the bathroom in a jumpsuit?
I just want to say that I personally have a rule against turtleneck sleeveless sweaters. Like What are you? Are you hot? Make up your mind.
I just want to say, when you start wearing Eileen Fisher, you might as well say I give up.
I just want to say, I hate my purse. I absolutely hate it. If you're one of those women who think there's something great about purses, don't even bother listening because I have nothing to say to you. This is for women who are bad at purses, who hate their purses, who understand that their purses are in some way reflections of negligent housekeeping, hopeless disorganization, a chronic inability to throw anything away, and a failure to handle the obligations of a demanding and difficult accessory. Obligation, for example, that it should in some way match what you're wearing. This is for women whose purses are a morass of loose Tic Tacs, Advils, lipsticks without tops, tobacco that, even though there's been no smoking for the past 10 years, tampons that have come loose from their wrap, boarding passes from long forgotten airplane trips, hotel keys from God knows what hotel, Kleenexes that either have or haven't been used. There's no way to know for sure one way or the other. Leaky ballpoint pens. This is for those of you who understand, in short, that your purse is in some absolutely horrible way you. Now, I realized many years ago that I was no good at purses, and for quite a while I did without one. If I wanted to go out at night, I managed with only a lipstick with a top on it, a $20 bill, and a credit card tucked into my bra. But there were times I needed to leave the house with more than the basics. So I bought an overcoat with large pockets. This, I realized, turned my coat into a purse. But it was still better than carrying a purse. Anything is better than carrying a purse. Because here's what happens when you buy a purse. You start pledging yourself to neatness. You start small. You start with a wallet and a few cosmetics. But within seconds, your purse has accumulated the debris of a lifetime. The makeup has fallen out of the cosmetics bag. The coins have tumbled from the wallet. The credit cards are where are they? There's a half-drunk bottle of water. A snack you saved from an airplane trip in case you're starving. It's like probably craving a piece of cheese that tastes like... Perhaps you could fit your sneakers in your purse. Yep. You can. God, before you know it, everything you own is in your purse. You could flee the Cossacks with your purse. But when you open it up, you can't find a damn thing. Oh, God, so what's the solution? I tried spending a lot of money on a purse, thinking that an expensive purse would inspire me to become a different person. Didn't work. No. I also tried one of those Prada backpack purses, but I stuffed so much into it, I looked like a Sherpa. Then, one day, I found myself in Paris with a friend who announced that it was her goal for the week to buy a vintage Kelly bag. I'd never heard of a Kelly bag. My friend looked at me as if I had spent a century asleep in a cave. She explained that a Kelly bag is an Hermes bag made in the 1950s that Grace Kelly made famous, hence the name. My friend heard that there was a dealer in the flea market who had several for sale. How much was this going to cost, I asked. I nearly expired when she told me $6,000. Well, we went to the flea market, and there was the Kelly bag. I didn't know what to say. It looked like the kind of bag my grandmother used to carry. It held barely anything and hung stiffly on her arm. Now, I may not be any good at purses, but I know that a purse that hangs on your arm instead of over your shoulder, it mobilizes half your body. And more importantly, it adds 10 years. Anyway, my son bought her Kelly bag. It only cost her $5,600. Bargain. The color wasn't exactly what she wanted, but it was in wonderful shape. Of course, it would have to be waterproofed immediately because it would lose half its value if it got caught in the rain. Waterproof? Caught in the rain? It never crossed my mind about a purse being caught in the rain. Thank God it was time for lunch. We all went to a bistro, and the Kelly bag was placed in the center of the table like a shrine to a shopping victory. And then, outside, it began to rain. My friend's eyes filled with tears. Her lips closed tightly. In fact, to be completely honest, her lips pursed.
I think that was
She hadn't had her Kelly bag waterproofed, and she would have to sit there all afternoon and wait for the rain to stop rather than expose the bag to a droplet of moisture. It did cross my mind that she and her Kelly bag might have to sit there forever. She would get old, but the Kelly bag would not. And eventually, she and the bag, like some modern version of Lot's wife, would metamorphose into a monument to what happens to people who care too much about purses. At that point, I gave up. I came back to New York, and I bought myself a purse. Not a purse exactly. It's a bag. It's definitely the best bag I've ever owned. It's yellow and blue, so it matches nothing at all. And therefore, on a deeper level, matches everything. It's made of vinyl. It's completely waterproof. It's equally unattractive in all seasons of the year. It costs next to nothing. Only $26. And I will never have to replace it because it seems to be completely indestructible. What's more, never having been in style, it can never go out of style. But mostly I go everywhere with my yellow and blue vinyl bag. And everywhere I go, people say to me, I love that bag. Where did you get that bag? That is the greatest bag. The Metro Card bag. Buy one.
Brides.
I never thought I'd get married.
I'm not someone who dreamed of my wedding from a young age. I did not have a vision. I just wanted a dress I could twirl around in.
But 2 months before my wedding, I saw an ad that said, wedding dress sample sale. So Saturday at 11 a.m., I was standing with 40 other brides-to-be in front of a store called Brides-to-Be. They opened the doors and stampede. Everyone's yelling, 8's over here, 12's over here. Ma, where are you? Elbows jabbing, purses swinging. Oh, somehow I ended up in a dressing room with 15 other women. No curtains. Stuffed into a wedding dress. When I finally got a look at myself in the mirror, I said, who's that person?
I went to all of the San Francisco department stores and tried on white bridal dresses with satin tops and big fancy bottoms, and it was like going back centuries. And the layers felt fantastic, but I don't look good in white, so no white.
So now I'm thinking pants. Wide flowing pants. Maybe silk. But I saw this parachute fabric once that was really beautiful. My mom, totally involved. My mother and I were barely speaking.
we went to all of these boutiques where the people were just fashion freaks, and they were so excited that I was getting married, and we got all carried away. We bought this dress. It was dark green. Right after we went to go see the rabbi to talk about the wedding, and my mother said, "Try it on for Rabbi Mendelssohn." So I went into the ladies' room at the temple, and I tried it on, and I looked into the mirror, which wasn't easy because it was above the sink, and I had to keep jumping, and then it dawned on me, I look like a fir tree. So I took the dress off and I stuffed it back in the store, and that's when I realized this is gonna be hard. This is gonna be really hard.
I've been dealing with my parents' homophobia since I was a young teenager. I thought they were going to get there, but when I told them I was getting married, poof, they hit the roof. But my fiance's mother was great. When we told her the news, she came right over with a bag of family rings. She said, "I want you to pick the ring you want to get married with. Whichever ring you pick, I want to give to you." I picked a plain rose gold band that was my fiance's grandmother's. It was made in the 1880s. It was beautiful and magical.
About this time, my mother went to a Buddhist retreat in Napa.
Finally, my friend suggested a tuxedo store.
She called me from a dress store in Yountville, and she said, "I found your dress. I found it. This is it." I'm kind of laughing at my mother, and my hopes aren't even up. I mean, she says, "I'll be back on Sunday."
I tried on some tuxedo pants. Well, they were slinky and sort of great.
At 3:00 on Sunday, I got a call from my mother. "I'm 3 hours away."
And a white frilly shirt that fit perfectly.
"It's me again. I'm 2 hours away."
Then the saleswoman showed me a vest with a daisy chain pattern.
"Set your watch. I'm 5 minutes from the exit."
Not daisies, just the chain part, interlocking circles.
My mom was like bubbling over with excitement. She took the dress out of the box. It was the most beautiful color, sort of this eggplanty maroon.
So, okay, I didn't look like a bride, but I looked good.
I tried it on, and it was amazing. My mother literally starts screaming and running around in circles. She's so excited. She's so excited that she found it. She's so excited because I look so beautiful. I just felt completely at peace.
A few days later, my fiance's mom came over and we tried on our outfits for her. She said we needed to go together. We needed to match better. So she brought these button covers with buttons on my vest, eggplanty maroon. I, Lisa, take the Amanda to be my partner for life, to love, honor, and to be faithful to through good times and bad, as long as we both shall live.
I, Amanda, take thee, Lisa, to be my partner for life, to love, honor, be faithful to through good times and bad, as long as we both shall live.
My mother kept saying, "Why they have to do this?"
I could hear my mother sniffling right through the ceremony.
She even said it to Amanda's mom.
"Why'd they have to do this?" And my mom said, "To honor their relationship."
Black.
Black.
Black. Black.
Black.
When did we start wearing black?
Well, I can't remember.
I love black.
Sometimes I buy something that's not black and put it on, and I am so sorry.
I'll take the 3 in black.
I'll take 5 in black.
Do you have this in black?
Is this black?
Are you sure you don't have this in black?
Could you see if the other store has this in black?
What about the LA store? Do they have it in black?
Why do we only look good in black?
I went to the store the other day, and the saleswoman showed me a black sweater. I said, I can't buy another black sweater.
You bought it, didn't you?
I bought it.
I feel sorry for people that live in places like Phoenix and Dallas because people there wear things that are like pink.
What about all those women senators in their red suits?
And their royal blue suit.
Okay.
Turquoise.
Coral.
Magenta.
What's wrong with them?
Don't they get it?
Can't we just stop pretending that anything will ever be the new black?
Black.
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 All right, I am going to teach you how to draw yourself. All right, we're going to start with this. Can you help me, Mama?
Yes, dear.
Thank you. All right, so what you're going to do is you're going to start with 2 rectangles right on top of each other. Now, this is going to be your dress, okay? So you can add a collar, maybe some buttons, a belt, whatever. Oh, if you can't draw arms, you just put them behind your back. All right, now you're going to draw an egg for a head, 2 lines, and you have a neck like a swan. If you don't know how to draw eyes, you just close them. An L for a nose, a W for a mouth, and your hair, you can do straight, curly, whatever. Now your legs, you're just going to do 3 straight lines, and your shoes, whatever. And there you go. You can fill it in if it's flowy, and you color it in, and you are set. You have your dress. Right? Thank you. Now, I'm not wearing a dress today, but this blouse, it's Eileen Fisher. So there. Of course, it's black. I always wear black. They say black is chic. And it makes, fashion choices easier. But who are we kidding? There are no fashion choices once you get to a certain age. I have to wear long sleeves because my arms have gone to hell. Well, my neck. Oh, this guy just. Oh. Sometimes I have to wind scarves around my neck. And I look like Katharine Hepburn on Golden Pond. Oh, I used to show a little cleavage as a fallback. But now my cleavage looks like a peach pit. And I had somebody tell me you can get Botox in your peach pit, but there are so many other places on me that need Botox. My peach pit is just going to have it. My waist, it's a distant, faint memory. If I find myself in a department store, it feels like I am wandering the desert. Oh, I feel like the forgotten woman. When I was younger, there was a store called The Forgotten Woman. And now I'm the forgotten woman, and the store isn't even in business anymore. How ironic is that? Now, all the clothes that I used to be able to wear, they're all in boxes. And my granddaughter, Allie, she loves them. She's 4 years old. And when she comes over, I polish her fingernails and her toenails bright red. And I let her play in that drawer where you keep all the awful makeup, the rouges and lipsticks and eyeshadows that aggressive sales lady tucked into buying. And then Allie, she tries on all my clothes and my shoes and my hats. And I watch her face as she looks in the mirror and sees how beautiful she is. And I wonder if she'll remember any of it when she gets older. I wonder if she'll remember me. My grandmother, she'll say. My grandmother was named Gingy, and she wore completely shapeless black things. Recently, Allie told me that her favorite color is pink. So maybe I'll try a pink scarf. Geraldine story.
I'd come to the doctor's from work, so of course I was wearing my business suit and lipstick. I always wear lipstick, even for my surgery. When my surgery was over, my lipstick was still perfect. The nurses were amazed. What kind of lipstick is that? Deep Scarlet by Aveda, I told them. But anyway, when the doctor first told me the news,
You have advanced stage invasive ductal carcinoma. Oh my God. Not you.
I looked over at my brother. He'd come with me for emotional support. He was wearing a gray pair of faded Levi's and a V-neck sweater. He was only 22. I thought, I can't die. I can't leave my brother. He still needs me. A woman who had breast cancer told me.
Whenever you go to the hospital, look fabulous. They can be mean to you. They can rob you of your identity. Put on an important piece of jewelry and always look your best.
My mother gave me a white waffle cotton robe to wear over my surgical gown. It was short and glamorous, definitely more spa than surgical. On the day my surgeon came in to undress my mastectomy wound and I was going to see it for the first time, I wore that robe and my Indian candelabra freshwater pearl earrings. Now, before my mastectomy, I had A- breasts. So I figured as long as I was going to have reconstructive surgery anyway, might as well go for it. When the plastic surgeon asked me what size breasts I wanted, I said, Baywatch. Is that? Then she got into a negotiation with me because she said, you're too small to have such big breasts. How about a B? And I said, no, I want a C. She said, okay. Well, how about a B plus? I want a C. The night before my reconstructive surgery, my best friend Meredith sent over this beautifully wrapped box, all pretty ribbons and tissue. And when I opened it, there was this white lace bra with underwire. I'd never worn a bra with underwire before. Until that moment, I hadn't thought of my new breast as anything but a reconstructed mound. But when I was given this bra, I realized it was going to be a breast in a lace demi-cup push-up bra.
Yeah.
Next day, in the operating room, the surgeon came in and told me what she was going to do. She proceeded to take off my top and draw on me with a Sharpie magic marker. She said, I'm going to cut you here, and here, and here. And oh, it was making me nauseous. Lying on that old metal table, oh, the smell of that room. And the surgeon drawing on my chest. So I focused on that bra. That beautiful white lace bra that was waiting for me when it was all over. Now, I did not want a nipple on my new breast. The nipples they make, they're very nice. And they look completely natural. But I thought, if I have a nipple, every time people look at that breast, they're going to see the awful mastectomy scar. Whereas if I have a tattoo instead of a nipple, they'll see the tattoo and laugh. I don't know exactly what people I was referring to. But that was my thinking. I don't know. So I started phoning tattoo parlors and telling them what I wanted. I found this guy who was really, really excited because his grandmother had breast cancer. And he said, oh, I have to do this for you. I wanted my tattoo to be a heart with wings. In Spanish, the word for heart is corazón, and in French, it's coeur. So heart represents both love and courage. And I wanted the wings to represent all the friends who had looked after me like angels. After my first chemotherapies, these two guys made me a really, really beautiful wig, but I didn't want to wear it. Everyone at my office knew I was losing my hair. They could see it falling out. So instead, I wore baseball caps, backwards. I had a red crushed velvet one, a brown velour one, and a black suede one. My black suede one was my favorite because my Aunt Honey gave it to me. I give my hats out to other women to wear during their chemotherapy. I always ask for them back so I can hand them out again. I think of them as magic hats. A kind of good luck thing. You know? When you get the kind of breast cancer I got at age 27, no one thinks you're gonna live. But I did.
Thank you, God.
Thank you.
After I finished making all of these drawings and writing all the bits and pieces that went with them, which took about a year, I made some copies and I put them in big red binders and I gave them to my children and my two best friends. I was so happy. You have no idea. It was the story of my life. My mother was in it, and my grandmother, and my Aunt Babby. It was as if they were still alive. They were acknowledged. Because when my sister dies, no one but me will know who they were. I was done. I managed to say all the things to my children that you don't have time to say. I wanted them to know that I wasn't always just their mother. I was a girl, and I had best friends, and we did stupid things. One time, I rode on a bus with Dora eating dog biscuits just so people would look at it. I wanted them to know. Then someone showed my book to a publisher, and I thought, well, who would buy this? It's too personal. But they published it. And it turns out it was personal to other people too.
It was a green plaid coat, and I caught it on a piece of barbed wire.
Navy blue tights that kept falling down and making a web between my legs.
Matching dresses with my sisters for Easter Sunday. Bright blue dresses with snorkel.
A gold lame mini dress I wore when I snuck into a Sting concert.
Blue jeans that me and my best friend embroidered with peace signs.
My first cheerleading outfit that said Colts right across my breast.
Black cigarette pants that I wore that one romantic night in Paris.
Cotton candy pink silk shoes with bubblegum pink silk roses on the toe. My poodle skirt, my poodle skirt.
Time it was,
And what a time it was a time of innocence, a time of confidence. Long ago it must be, I have a photograph. Preserve your memories, they're all that's left of you.
Such a